Morning folks, we're a week away from Christmas and it's probably been my last video for a little while because I've got really nothing to say at the moment, plus I'm going to be busy. I've still got this fucking cold hanging on and I can't quite shift it, so if you hear me coughing I do apologise, or if my voice goes all croaky and horrible I do apologise. But to the subject of today's video, well, first of all, I'm going to start off saying about Paul Butler putting up a brave showing against Inoue in Japan on Tuesday. He lasted a lot longer than I thought he would. I mean, a lot of people criticised him as being quite negative, and he was, you know. But he was trying to do what he was trying to do. Yeah, he was trying his best. No one gave him a hope in that fight. He went into the 11th round and he was taken out. You know, Inoue is probably one of the most savage punchers pound for pound in boxing at the moment. And he's the first undisputed bantamweight champion in over 50 years. So back in the days when there was only 2 titles, that was. And of course he's the first to hold all 4 versions of the bantamweight title. So, you know, he's made history. I've seen a lot of hatred towards him online lately. Excuse me. This past week, and I don't really understand it. Look, he's done something that hasn't been done for 50 years. He's undisputed bantamweight champion, and he's done something that nobody else has done in history, and that's hold all 4 versions of the bantamweight title. Look, but bantamweight is not a glamour division at the moment. It hasn't got the big names in it. It just hasn't. Not the big worldwide names that everybody knows. You know, not like the super middleweight division or the heavyweight division or whatever. And in this country, unfortunately, in the UK, bantamweight is it's overlooked a lot of the time. We don't tend to value the smaller men. They kind of get a little bit pushed to the side, especially in the newspapers over here, or the media over here, any form of media. Anything sort of below middleweight, welterweight, really, has traditionally been kind of overlooked, unless it's somebody special like Nassim Hamid, for example. So no, it was a good win for Inoue. I think the only option he's got now, there isn't anybody else to fight at bantamweight for him. He's going to have to move up to super bantamweight now and fight some of those guys there. So yeah, that's that really. And the only other subject I have this week is, if anybody's seen it on my Instagram, I've posted who I think deserves all the year-end awards in boxing for 2022. This is just my opinion. If you don't agree with me, that's fine. You know, like I always say, everyone's entitled to their opinion. This is just my point of view. Fighter of the year for 2022 is Dimitri Bivol. In my opinion, no one else comes close. He beat handily, in my opinion. He beat Alvarez, who's pound for pound top and the face of boxing at the moment, and he handed Zurdo Ramirez his first defeat as a professional. And he's looking pretty unstoppable. So just purely on those, my fight of the year, it was Lee Wood against Michael Condon. I mean, that was a real bruising back and forth battle with a dramatic ending. So I chose that. Knockout of the year, there was a couple of options I was kind of torn between, but in the end, ultimately, I went for Caleb Plant against Anthony Durrell in the 9th round. That left hook uppercut that just took him out, one punch. That was just, and of course the dramatic over celebration at the end, that sort of sealed it for me as a knockout. And my upset for the men, all of this for the men, I should have said. And my upset of the year was Jai Opetaia upsetting Maurus Bradis for the IBF and Ring Magazine cruiserweight titles. Because let's be honest, not a lot of people knew who Jai Opetaia is. And he fought very bravely with a broken jaw. So, yeah, because obviously Bradis was being kind of groomed for a showdown unification potentially with a Coley. So that kind of derailed those plans. So that was, I mean, there was a few different bits and pieces, but that's ultimately what I went for. And with the women, for me, Claressa Shields is Fighter of the Year. You know, I just can't see anybody else coming close. I was torn between her or Chantel Cameron, but I went with Shields. The Fight of the Year for me, it's got to be Katie Taylor and Amanda Serrano. An absolutely fantastic back and forth brawl. That could have gone either way. Katie just nicked it, and I'd love to see the rematch. So for me, that was Fight of the Year. Knockout of the Year. Now it's difficult because I don't follow women's boxing as closely as the men's, and I'm starting to, but traditionally I don't follow it. It's only in recent years I kind of started watching it, following it close. So knockout of the year for the ladies was Savannah Marshall's knockout of Femke Hermans. Again, and I'm not being sexist, you don't see too many spectacular knockouts with the ladies, so I'm just going with that. An upset of the year for me, for the ladies, was Alicia Baumgardner beating Michaela Meyer, because no one really gave her a chance in that one. She was seen as a very lucky, when she knocked out Terry Harper, she was seen as being very, very lucky, and no one really gave her a chance because Meyer is a bit of a boxing machine. And a lot of people complained after it that it was a robbery. I had it a draw, so you can't, in my opinion, it could have gone either way. If Meyer had got it, fine. If Baumgardner did get it, I can't complain. Yeah, it doesn't bother me. I'd like to see the rematch of that as well. So they were my picks for the year-end awards for 2022. I'm sure the Ring Magazine ones, which is the only ones that a lot of people really give that much of a shit about, to be honest. I'm sure some of them would be slightly different, but yeah, whatever. Like I say, it's very subjective. There's trouble with a subjective sport like boxing. Yeah, everybody's got different opinions, everyone's got different views, everybody likes different things as well. So, yeah, that's just my thoughts. And I'm going to spend the next week, well, I've got to work actually this week, but this time next week I'll probably be slightly tipsy, prepping the Christmas dinner and all that sort of stuff, running around my dog. I'll have 4 days off over Christmas, and then over New Year I've got 4 days off as well, so can't be bad. So to everybody out there, thank you for listening to me and watching my videos. It means a lot to me, even if you don't agree with what I say. Excuse me again, this fucking cough. I wish you all a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year, and hopefully I'll be able to do more of these videos. Take care, folks, and have a good one, and see you for the fights next year.